Let's look at Riot blockchain. First off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. Something very important is happening to Riot. First off, let's look at the blockchain portfolio. So it is the best performing of all the Megatrend themes, 2,189-ish% here from the low, but a whopping minus 53% pullback. So there's been some substantial haircuts across the space. Riot is one of the best performing in the theme, a whopping 67% here from the high. So that is a deep substantial haircut, but it does potentially open up some opportunities. So here's the company's website. So it is a Bitcoin mining company supporting the Bitcoin blockchain through rapidly expanding industrial scale mining focused in the United States. We are consistently focused on expanding our operations by increasing our Bitcoin mining hash rate while decreasing our cost of production. A very, very interesting company in the space. They are quite focused here on Bitcoin. I would like to see them have a more diversified approach to the blockchain movement, but that is the strategy they have chosen. So the thing is that Riot was a different company in the past. I remember when they first began to get into the whole blockchain space. They were initially in the medical devices space, actually. But as you can see here with the stock chart, the chart was down a lot from the highs. They did have a business in the whole medical space, but it wasn't really that exciting. Not much was happening. Then they decided to get into blockchain, and initially, when they made the transition and I started to analyze the stock, there was a lot of cynicism about their change of heart, because there were other companies that also all of a sudden got into blockchain, and it was a bit suspicious, but they did make that transition, and they are a genuine player in the blockchain space. So it's a story of how a company can change. So this is the weekly data points. This is how it reacted to the huge move we have seen in the crypto market. So we have seen a very dramatic pullback here from the highs. And you could start to make a bit of a temporarily bullish thesis, because we are forming a head and shoulders pattern. Well, we are potentially forming one. It means that we could form a right shoulder. And a formation of a right shoulder would mean that, the stock is going up. So it is sort of like a bullish-ish kind of interpretation of the head and shoulders pattern. So that's interesting. Of course, it is fully possible that it will not be, head and shoulders that breaks down, that we formed, the right shoulder and then we go up, so that we sort of form something like this, and then then we start to form a shoulder, but we don't break down, instead we go up. That's also possible. Okay, but from here, the weekly data points, we have seen a very substantial pullback, a very, given the history of this stock, it is oversold. It is not technically oversold as far as RSI analysis goes, but given the recent developments, it is at a very low level. So here on the daily data points, we have a very interesting event. We tested the 200-day moving average in red, and we bounced, rather surgically. So that is bullish. We also here got oversold on the daily RSI, like really oversold, technically oversold, textbook. Then we bounced. We are seeing some rejection here from the 5-day moving average in light blue. Quite surgical rejection, but as long as we are able to stay above the 200 day in red, then I would be, speculatively bullish on Riot blockchain. I do think that, the whole, the current, Bitcoin rally, well, broadly, the cryptocurrency rally, it is getting long in the tooth, so we do certainly expect there to be a bit of a, more significant pullback. But even during, a more significant pullback, we do every now and then have some rallies. And the current setup here for Riot looks just rather interesting. Yeah, I would frankly be a bit surprised if Riot was able to fully neutralize this head and shoulders pattern, because and that's basically because the cryptocurrencies have already gone up so much. But I do think that the setup here favors the formation, at least here, of that right shoulder, and that would be bullish temporarily. But that means that it's a very good idea to tighten stops if it moves along. And the break of the 200 day would be the signal that the bears are really going to get aggressive. Looking at the seasonality for Riot blockchain, given that the company has gone through significant changes in its business operations, we need to look at it a bit differently. So here we have the last 5 years. May is a bit mediocre, is strong early in the year but weaker later. And here, as we expand the number of years, you see here that when we go to 10 years, May is a mediocre month, June also. So generally speaking, we are a bit of a, the seasonality is not that favorable. Looking here at Finviz, they do notify us here about that bounce from 200-day moving average. We do not have any analyst price targets. I did find that rather surprising, frankly. If we go here to Saks.com, they have a number 3 hold, D value, D growth, and B momentum. The industry rank is very broad, technology services. So I wouldn't read too much into the industry ranking. So the style scores and Saks rank in mediocre. There's nothing really bullish here, but nothing like dramatically bearish either. So to sum up here, okay, so this is my take on Riot blockchain. I do think that at these levels, especially given that we have that 200-day moving average bounce, and we could form a head and shoulders pattern, a pretty big one, I think there's an increased probability that the bears maybe might relax a bit. They have done a lot of damage, and bears are not going to freak out about a right shoulder being formed. The bears could get far more aggressive as we start to approach some other key levels to the upside. But so far, this looks like an interesting temporary bullish trade. The sign that things are going to get a lot worse, that would be if we do not start to form that right shoulder and instead slice below the 200-day moving average. So this bullish thesis is very, very contingent on the 200-day moving average, because we do not really have much help here from seasonality. And Saks is not really pushing that much money into this stock either, because the 3 hold is not really that interesting. The style scores is also, it's not the kind of things that will make people move big into or out of this stock. Yeah. To get access to all the research, you just go here.